I heard something the other day, and I just remembered to ask you. Does it? I heard somebody say if you lose 100, you've got to make 200 back.
No, it's the percentages people are talking about. If
Okay.
you lose 50% of your account value, how much do you have to make as a percent to get back to even? You have
Okay.
to make 100%.
Okay. So, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's the same dollar value, but
Hmm.
the percent is much greater. So if you had, in your total account value, let's say you start with $100,000, you lose 50% of it. Well, now your account's $50,000. So what do you have to make as a percent to get back to even to $100,000? Well, you have to make 100%. You have to double your account.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. And that's why you never want to take really big drawdowns. When you lose 20% of your account, you have to make 25% of your account back to get to even.
Okay.
Like a
Well, it's been
25% loss needs a 33% gain to get back to even. A 50% loss needs a 100% gain to get back to even. A 75% loss needs like a 300% gain to get back. Like it gets crazy. So, that's really, don't ever put too much of your account at risk. Don't ever blow up your account. Never be in a situation where you think you're going to wake up one day and your account's going to be down more than 15, 20%. Because
Mhm.
those kinds of losses are very hard to come back from. They take years to come back from.
Okay.
Unless you deposit more money into your account, of course. So that was like the whole thing with the August 5th situation where people were losing 30, 40, 50% of their account.
Hmm.
Those kinds of losses that some of those guys were taking, especially some of the YouTube content creators. I mean, some of those guys, I saw guys losing like 45% of their account or whatever they were talking about on camera. It's like, well, how could you even put yourself in a situation to take that loss? A lot of it is just people being greedy or being complacent. You get used to winning on trades all the time. You just think, well, market just keeps going up. I'm just going to keep putting on more and more risk, keep riding the train, and then one day you get slapped down. That's why I don't have a whole lot of my buying power in use. My positions right now are very safe. There's very little that I have on that could hurt me in a big way. And I plan for that. It's one of the things, if I look at my MES positions, like I've got 1,000,000 positions in MES.
Yeah.
Now, why do I have 1,000,000 positions? It's because I want to make myself as safe as possible on some of these. So let me go to the P&L graph. Let me turn everything off except MES. We'll add our new short put as well. Now, I have a lot of hedges on for the Fed meeting that is now passed. All these long puts are going to expire in 6 days. Let's just turn them off. They don't matter anymore.
Okay.
This is my MES positions, and I've got, probably a dozen different positions on. That's the P&L graph for it. That's kind of nice. I can't really get hurt too much. The market goes up, I make money. The market goes down, I make money. The market really goes down, I can make quite a bit of money. But if the market crashes more than, say, 1,200 points in the ES, then I start losing money in a big way. But that's an unlikely event, and that's the kind of event you're probably going to lose money no matter what. So that is the point of me kind of having all these positions on. I've got some long put condors. I've got a long put butterfly. I've got some ratio spreads in here somewhere. I've got several just naked puts. That's a naked put. This is just a couple of naked puts. And of course, the one we just put on was a naked put. But we've got a lot of naked puts. That's why the graph is long. But I also have some bearish trades. That's why I've got a little bump down here. Just in case the market does move down, I'm not that worried about it. In fact, if the market just moves down slowly, I could actually make quite a bit of money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of nice. When you really don't care if the market goes up, I make a little money. If the market goes down, I make a little money. That's where you want to be.
Okay.
Now, you can't hedge everything. Like, there has to be an area where I lose, and there is. Obviously, if it crashes down hard, more than 1,000 points, I'm going to lose in a big way. Or if the market crashed up, I could lose a little money, but that's an unlikely event. That never happens. The market doesn't crash up. So that's kind of what I'm doing with my MES positions. Kind of what, as you gain more experience, if you want to trade a lot more of the ES or the MES or SPY, any of the S&P products, you just got to get used to putting on, well, you're going to put on the trades that have positive expectancy. Short puts, obviously. That's the number one trade. You just put on a lot of short puts, right? But you can't put on short puts all the time, because you're going to end up having so much risk on when the big down move does happen, it blows up your account. And that's what happened on August 5th to a lot of folks. Every now and then, instead of just putting on that short put, well, go in there and also sell a put debit spread. There's a bearish trade. I turn on the analysis. Matter of fact, we can actually take a look at what that would look like in conjunction with that short put that you have on. Trying to find, well, this is the debit spread. There it is. And you end up with something like this. Or if we got a put debit spread where I make money if the market goes down, but the short put that I had down here makes money if the market goes up. And they kind of offset each other. Well, you end up with a profit area in between the short put and the put debit spread. Of course, that was just one example of a bearish trade. I could have done instead a long put condor. And now that's what my long put condor would look like in conjunction with the one short put we sold this morning. Now I'm not really worried if the market kind of creeps down, because it's going to finish inside this condor, which makes me money. But if it doesn't finish inside this condor, the condor is a really cheap trade, and the short put that we sold this morning more than pays for the condor, we still would be profitable, even if the market, goes up. Not really worried about it. This is more of a small little hedge you pay for, just in case. So that's the thinking, is every time you sell a short put in something like ES or MES, put on a bearish trade. Put on a put debit spread, put on a long put condor, put on a long put butterfly, something to the downside, just as a small little hedge. All you're doing is you're sacrificing a little bit of profit potential on that short put, but it's worth it in a down move. So for me, what I'm thinking is, if I sell a short put in MES for $100, I want to spend at least $20 of that, maybe $25 of that on a bearish trade of some kind.
I'm going to do the same right now on my MES.
Yeah, we could actually do something on the short put. We took in $100 for this, didn't we? I could actually go back to the positions tab real quick. 1850 times 5, that's like $98, I think, that we took in. 97, 98 bucks. Let's spend $20 on a bearish trade just to hedge it a little bit.
All right.
So we go back into the same cycle, and I like the condors. I'm not going to put on the one that I just put on. I'm going to actually go a little lower to make it cheaper, because the one I just put on a minute ago was kind of expensive. How about the 25 delta? Buy a put and then sell the put 25 points below it. So that is a put debit spread. Now let's do a put credit spread. Let's go, I don't know, say $500 wide. Let's do the same thing at $5,000. Buy the long put, and then at $5,025 sell. You're only spending about 16 to 18 bucks wherever we get filled on that condor. It gives you a little boost of profit here. You spend, it gives you potentially an extra $109 of profit if you finish in this area.
So the 5,000, 50, 25, and the 55 and 54.75.
Yeah, let me see what you got. Yep. You see, you're paying $3 for it, $3.35, something more, times 5, the multiplier in MES times 5. You're going to pay about 16 to 18 bucks. What you were going to get 98 for the short put you sold anyway earlier. So you're just, you're taking a small little percentage of that short put premium to pay for this downside hedge. So if over the next couple weeks the MES creeps down a little bit, you're not really worried about it. As a matter of fact, you're kind of happy if the MES creeps down a little bit, because this condor that you spent $16 on potentially could make you $100.
Okay.
I'm going to put in an order for 325, which is $16.25. And the mid price is at 310, so I'm paying more than the mid price. Well, now it just jumped up to 331. How about 335, which is $16.75 for it? Yeah, they're really trying to make me pay a lot of money for this. $18.50 got it though. So that's $370. It's $18.50. Now, what would you need to do? Because you got 5 different option positions here in this cycle. Let's actually group them. So go to Group by Custom and select the condor that we just put on, and actually group position, and it's a long put condor. And then the put, if you wanted to go ahead and group it, just group, and I'm going to call it naked put. That way it's obvious that it's not covered in any way. So that's a put we need to pay attention to.
Okay.
And that's it. And now when you look at your P&L graph, if we turn off everything except that MES H5 position, you know, you can see that's what it looks like.
Okay.
And say in about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks down the road, depending on how this MES position is looking, if that short put is working for us, you can actually close that thing for a profit and just leave the condor on kind of as a free trade. It's a freebie at that point, as long as you make enough on the short put at some point to pay for this thing. Or, you know, 2, you could campaign this kind of like we do with the SPY put credit spreads. Down the road, you could put more of these on. More naked puts and more condors, and as MES moves up and down, you'll end up with condors all over the place to where the graph would look more something like this. You know, you can see I've got, this is a condor, this is a condor, somewhere in here there's going to be some condors. And that really is kind of like the next level trading, is when you start thinking about positions as not just being their individual positions, like this short put's not just a short put, you know, this put debit spread is not just a put debit spread. You got to think of how everything works together. You know, you got to have that profit, that picture of that P&L graph, figure out what you want it to look like, and make your trades paint that picture.
Okay.